So you've decided that you would like to go vegan, but where do you start? Transitioning into a vegan lifestyle can really seem daunting, but often the idea of a big lifestyle change is a lot scarier than actually doing it. In this video I will share with you a couple of tips and ideas to structure your transition into veganism, but just be sure to tailor them to your specific needs. The first tip is to approach veganism from an abundant state of mind. Most beginners approach the lifestyle in an opposite way, though it makes sense since you're cutting out a lot of food options. In fact, most people think of veganism as a restrictive lifestyle. However, when you think of veganism like this, you simply haven't done your research yet, or you just didn't do it well enough. You need to buy into veganism. You need to get sold on it. What I mean by saying this is that you simply need to learn the benefits of the vegan lifestyle, become more knowledgeable in the different kinds of foods, learn about the different vitamins and nutritions you need, and get to know the culture. Be like a sponge and soak up all the information you can about veganism. The key here is to do it for yourself, so that you get a better understanding about the lifestyle and not to feel better than other people. The more invested you become, the easier it will be. Secondly, be aware that veganism is a lifestyle, not a simple switch in diet. The difference lays in the orientation. A diet is results oriented. You want to get in shape, and therefore you can't afford to make mistakes, because this will put you further away from the desired result. Furthermore, a diet is focused on the short term. On the other hand, veganism is process oriented, meaning that you are allowed to mess up and make mistakes, especially in the beginning, but also anywhere during the process. And it's also a lifestyle, indicating that you're changing your whole life, which means that it's a long-term decision. So don't beat yourself up when you have cravings or when you couldn't resist a cheeseburger. The truth of the matter is that most vegans stopped eating animal products for ethical reasons, not because they didn't enjoy the taste of them. So you're not the only one who has these cravings. So aim to focus on the growth and the things you learn on your vegan journey, rather than punishing yourself for making mistakes. The next tip is about how you can smoothly replace animal products for plant-based foods. First of all, start with removing all the animal-based foods that you won't miss in your diet. These could be foods that you eat every once in a while, such as fast food. Then replace them with plant-based products, so you can try out plant-based burgers or plant-based fried chicken to get accustomed to the taste. Fast food is a great way to learn more about a different diet, simply because it tastes in 99% of the cases very well, so one of your first experiences with vegan food will be a pleasant one. Then start to incorporate more whole grains, beans, legumes, tofu, nuts and seeds to your diet, while simultaneously cutting down on the animal products that you will miss the least. This is a critical step, because now you're actually adding new foods to your diet that will eventually become the staple of your diet. It's important that you really find your way with all these foods. It's basically a matter of test and learn. And finally, once you really start to adore your vegan foods and feel really comfortable, it's time to remove the so-called barrier foods. These are the type of foods that people claim they can't live without, but you know better by now and are more aware of the great options that are available that taste just as good or sometimes even better. The next idea you might want to consider is to join a Facebook group. Now hold on, you need to be warned. Some members in these groups act like the stereotype preachy vegans and will condemn you for every mistake you make or every newbie question you ask. On the other hand, the majority of the members are very kind and supportive. Alright, so with this disclaimer out of the way, why should you join a Facebook group in the first place? Well, because you become connected with other vegans, and furthermore, you will probably come across questions that you might have had or maybe will have later on in your journey. So this is an easy way to connect with other vegans and to learn more about veganism. Another important piece of advice when you go vegan is to read the food labels of products. Look for the items that say suitable for vegans or have the certified vegan symbol. If the product is simply labeled vegan or contains no animal ingredients, do not take that as a guarantee. Read the full ingredient list and find out for yourself. With regards to finding out whether animal testing was involved in the product, look for items labeled with the leaping bunny symbol or PETA's cruelty-free bunny sign. So in sum up, veganism is all about doing. It's about matching your actions with your ethics. The same principle applies when you're just starting out. You might be feeling overwhelmed when you start your vegan journey, but try to view this as a challenge rather than an obstacle. And the best way to deal with all these challenges is by just doing it and coming up with solutions along the way.